All right, it's almost the end of 2024. And if you're like me, coming from the tech industry, you've probably encountered one of these three situations, if not all three of them at some point. So the first one is that you are currently looking for a job and it's taking a lot longer and it's a lot harder than you thought it was. Two, you currently have a software engineering job and you absolutely hate it and would rather be doing anything else than coding and staring at a computer screen. Or three, you currently have a software engineering job and you absolutely love it and you would never want to do anything else but that. But in the back of your mind, maybe you might be having some anxiety or trepidation about potentially losing your job and being in situation number one. So in this video, I want to talk about a skill that I learned unrelated to software engineering that has allowed me to mitigate and alleviate some of those situations that I've been, and why I think that software engineers especially would really benefit from learning this skill. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and go into it. So in my experience, I've known software engineers to be smart, creative, great problem solvers, generally just love to learn and continuously learn, and want to get better. They optimize their code, learn different things, and I think this skill is perfect to learn because you can apply those same characteristics to this skill and be way better off in the long run and alleviate the situations that I mentioned earlier. And that skill, drum roll please, is money management and personal finance. And I know it's a Captain Obvious type thing to say, but I really think that learning this skill will really help people in the long run, especially software engineers, because they're also high earners. And if you're a high earner, I mean, it's almost a necessity to learn this. And I don't see why people don't do this. So let me bring this back a little bit to my experience and how learning this has helped me. So let me ask you a question. What do you think Washington State and Nashville, Tennessee have in common? They don't have state income tax. And what does that have to do with software engineering? Well, Washington State is a great market for salaries in software engineering. Aside from California, New York, and maybe Texas, getting a software engineer job in Seattle State is generally higher than the rest of the country. And Nashville, generally speaking, is one of the lower cost of living in the nation. And so for me, I used to live in Nashville for a short period of time, and I worked remotely for a company in Washington State. So I basically had the salary of a software engineer in Washington State, but also lived in a low-cost area like Nashville. And having no state income tax between the two states allowed me to shovel a lot of money into my savings and a lot of money to just do whatever I want with it. And luckily for me, I was very smart about that because I knew I've been in it before at least twice that I would, get laid off, get fired, or take a long time, doing leak code to get a job. And I knew in the back of my head that if I was smart about money, I don't have to be applying to jobs and get super stressed out about it, or, having to deal with recruiters, or, even just having the job. When I first got laid off, I wasn't that worried about it because I had, a significant emergency fund, to have the time to learn to do leak code and grind it out. And, I came from a coding boot camp, and data structure and algorithms don't come naturally to me. It takes me a very long time to learn it. So it was especially important for me to learn that. So another reason why I got into this and started taking this more seriously was because I used to travel abroad working remotely as a software engineer, and the currency exchange, earning dollars and living at the time where I was in Mexico and Colombia, was insane. It was insane. You could literally live like a king in another country while earning the dollars and converting the pesos. And that opened my mind because I thought to myself, how many people in the U.S. work in software engineering and are, living paycheck to paycheck, or are barely getting by, or can't afford a house. It's more than you think. And I thought to myself, if I can leverage the situation of, currency and understanding how income tax work and the different states that have no state income tax, and maximize my money when different investments, how great will I be in 5 to 10 years? And so far, I've done pretty well for myself, but I want to take it to the next level. And what's great about learning money management and personal finance is that, unlike software engineering, there's no new frameworks that come out every other year. There's no continuous updates that you have to, frequently update your learning bank. There's no significant thing that really changes, but, the subject is deep enough where, you can really go deep if you want. The programming language of money is only one. There's different frameworks, investment vehicles that don't change very often. And, with the general problem solving skills that software engineers have and the creativity, you can mix and match these relatively simple and, set yourself up for life, for a family, for a house, if you're dedicated enough to about it. And think about this. Like, if I haven't sold you enough about that, think about, your current situation about looking for a job or getting laid off or being fired, et cetera, et cetera. When was it, have you ever said to yourself, I'm so glad I got that certification for AWS. I'm so glad I learned about Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure. I'm so glad that I learned this particular framework, and I'm really glad I learned Next.js. That really saved me from losing my job. No one ever says that. I don't know a single engineer that has looked back and said, oh, wow, I'm so glad I learned Ruby on Rails because that's what saved me from getting canned. No one does that. What I have heard is, thank God I have an emergency fund so I don't have to stress out. Thank God I don't have, a significant amount of debt so I can, do the things that I want. Or thank God I have this and that so I can say no to my boss and I have leverage. And that's something that literally, if you can just dedicate 1/10 of learning tech into learning money, the rewards are so great. And I really want to drive that home, because I hate seeing posts on LinkedIn like this, or comments on YouTube that show that, or news articles and YouTube videos that just illustrate how bad the tech industry is. And this is something that I'm really passionate about, and it's something that I lived, and I know what I'm talking about. I'm not an expert at this, but I've had the experience, and I know what that's like to be able to have that security. I mean, just for like this is a perfect example. I left tech so I can pursue YouTube, and I would never be able to do this unless I had an emergency fund and managed my money well, and continue learn about different investment vehicles and strategies. And I think, if I haven't sold that enough to you guys, I don't know what else to tell you. I really enjoyed being able to travel and live like a king, and I really enjoy being able to afford this apartment relatively simply and not have to worry about debt. And I enjoy being able to not be stressed out every day about finding a new job, or stressing out about my YouTube subscribers, et cetera, et cetera. And I think, to wrap it all up, I think that you guys, if you want to be in this position, please take this seriously. I know if you're a young aspiring software engineer, you might not have the job yet, but the second you get the job, learn to manage money, spend some time learning about personal management, personal finance, and money management. If you're a high earner up there in your career, and you have significant experience and you're making the big bucks, please dedicate some time to learn about all that I mentioned. Consider learning about the state income tax, how debt works, et cetera, et cetera. Because I really think that you can be pretty well off. And yeah, and I think I'll end the video there, because I don't have anything else to say without droning on and on. But if you're in those situations, stay positive, have hope, but consider in consideration of learning tech and dedicating to your career, please learn about finance and money management, because I truly hate to see those comments about, being desperate and looking for a job and being on the brink of, being homeless, et cetera, et cetera. So that ends it for this quick video. That's all I want to say. So thank you guys, and I really appreciate it. All right, if you made it this far in the video, special outro. So thank you guys for watching my video. If you enjoyed content about money and personal finance and my experience, let me know. I don't, in the future, I don't want this channel to be solely about tech. There's so many other channels out there that, talk about all things tech related, coding projects, the state of software, finding a job, et cetera, et cetera. But what I really want to do is I really want to focus on, going into, finding your passion, managing your money, and living your life to the fullest. I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but that's the direction that I'm going to go. And if you're curious about why I left tech, here's a video that outlines my reasons about that. And also here's why, another video why I'm going to go into YouTube. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.